Hi there, I'm Jen and this is the Roving Crafters, and today we're going to practice our chart reading skills, chart reading for knitters, which can be very handy. We're going to start with a very simple small chart that won't take long to work at all, and as we work through this chart you'll find that we're making a leaf. It's the basic motif of English leaf lace, and it's one of my favorites. So take another look at that chart and then cast on 3 stitches, and we're going to begin at the arrow point, which is row 0. I wanted to preserve the convention of even numbered rows. 0, 2, 4, 6 are the wrong side of the work. Odd numbered rows, 1, 3, 5, those are the right side of the work. In this particular pattern, you need to start with one little row on the wrong side first. Now, this chart has 2 things that I want to cover right away. One is those gray squares. Gray squares can throw off someone who's not used to working with charts, and what it means is ignore this. Ignore this box. There's no stitch here. As you can see, if you take a look at the whole chart, this is a leaf that starts narrow and then widens and then narrows again. So the spots in the chart that are down here, out here, there's no stitches for them yet. When you see a gray box in a chart, that means skip this space. Go to the next space that's not gray. So we're going to start at the first box that's not gray, and it's a box with a dot in it. If you check the key, it means purl on the right side, knit on the wrong side, and this is row 0, which is a wrong side row. And so if it has a dot and we're on the wrong side, we knit the first stitch. Next we come to a box that's blank, and that means knit on the right side, purl on the wrong side. Remember, we're on the wrong side row, so we'll purl that one. And our last box is a dot, so we knit. That's row 0, 3 stitches. And yes, it's going to be very important that you keep track whether or not you're on a right side or a wrong side row. Let's talk about that for a minute. You can think of the blank squares in a chart like this, and they mean stockinette. And the dotted boxes, the dotted squares on this chart, and they mean reverse stockinette. So we finished row 0. We're on row 1. Row 1 is a right side row. It starts with a dot. Dot means purl on the right side. Okay, so we're going to purl. Followed by a big O, which just means yarn over. Okay? The next stitch is a knit. If you go from a purl to a knit, how do you yarn over? You just leave your yarn in the forward position. If you leave your yarn forward from the purl and knit the next stitch, notice how that gives you a yarn over and a knit stitch. Now we have another yarn over followed by a purl. You need to wrap that needle. Yeah, that's how you go from a knit to a purl and make a yarn over in between. Bring your yarn forward, over, and forward again, and then purl. Let's check out our work before we turn. Have a purl, yarn over, knit, yarn over, purl. 5 stitches. And now we'll work row 2, and row 2 is a wrong side row. So we have a dot, which means knit, because we're on the wrong side, followed by 3 blank boxes. Blank means knit on the right side and purl on the wrong side. We're on the wrong side. So 3 purls. Charts are just step-by-step instructions. That's all they are. Now we have 1 dotted box at the end of row 2, and this is the wrong side row. On the wrong side, dot means knit. And turn. Now we'll work row 3. Purl, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, and end with a purl. Let's take a look at that. Purl, knit, yarn over, knit, yarn over, knit, purl. 7 stitches. Now we'll work row 4, which is the wrong side row, and a dot. So we'll start with a knit, purl through the middle, purl 5, end with a knit. Now we're back on the right side, and we have a dot. So we'll start with a purl. Knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, and end with a purl. And in the first half of this leaf, yes, we are growing by 2 stitches every right side row. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. We'll work our wrong side row. It starts with a knit, purl through the middle, and ends with a knit. You're getting used to it, right? You're getting confident with it, right? Right. Okay. Now, we're going to start our decrease rows. Now that we've grown our leaf out to this wide, we're going to go and start some decreases and bring our leaf back to a point. And of course, to do that, we need decrease stitches. We'll start with a purl. We're on the right side row, and we have a dot, so we get a purl. Bam, a purl. Now, we have a left leaning decrease, which is a slip, slip, knit, and then knit 3. We have 3 blank boxes, so knit 3, followed by a right leaning decrease, which is knit 2 together. and then a dot, which means purl. I hope that by going through this with me, you'll see that charts are hard to understand if you try to take them in one big bite, but easy to understand if you look at them box by box by box. Just like written instructions. You can only do one thing at a time. So only worry about one box at a time. Knit the first stitch, purl through the middle, and knit the last. Okay. A second decrease row, purl, slip, slip, knit, knit one, knit two together, and purl. Okay, we're on row 10, long side row. We're going to knit the first one, purl the next three, and knit the last. Row 11. Last row in this chart. Purl. Now we have a little steeple, sometimes called a carrot. It's a centered double decrease. And you can make a centered double decrease by slipping 2 stitches at the same time knitwise. You slip them like that. Notice how that slips them and twists them at the same time. Yeah. And knit the next stitch. And then you take your 2 twisted slipped stitches and pull them over the knitted stitch. Bam. A centered double decrease. Followed by a little purl. And voila. You have a leaf. Okay? A little crooked and needle blocking leaf. So, in the expanded chart, the one that I'm going to work next, which will give you a nice little washcloth, you can see that you have a leaf followed by another leaf. So this would be one version of the chart we just worked, and then you would start it again. If you go back to the chart, you'll notice that it starts with 3 stitches, which we did. At the end of the chart, you have 3 stitches. So you can take those charts and stack them on top of each other and get a sequence like this. The next thing I'm going to do in my next chart is show you how you take your basic leaf and your basic leaf chart and expand it and stack them not just vertical but sideways as well, so that you can get a nice pretty overall lace, which is what that kind of pattern is usually called, a nice overall lace of leaves. So I hope you'll join me on the next one.